Hey there, everybody. To be mindful of people's time, I think we're going to get started. It's 9:36 now. Anyway, great to see everybody. Welcome to the last Borough Service Cabinet meeting of 2021. Great to see you all. It's been great working with you over these past few months. We're going to call the roll as we usually do, so we'll get right to it. CB1? CB1, are you here? CB2? CB2, are you here? CB3? CB3, are you here? CB4, I know Celeste is out. Is there anyone here from CB4?
Yes, hi, good morning.
Hey there.
I'm in for Celeste this morning, but CB4 is present. Thank you.
Fantastic, thank you. CB5? CB5? Okay, CB6? CB6? All right, CB7? CB7? Okay, CB8? CB8? No. CB9, I know Dante's here.
Present.
Hey, Dante. CB10, I know Josephine's here.
Present.
Hey, Josephine. CB11, I know Marnie's here.
Good morning, present.
Thank you there, Marnie. CB12? CB12? CB13? CB13? Eddie, you here? Guess not. CB14?
Oh, present.
Great, thank you. CB15, I know Laura's here. CB16? CB16? Okay. CB17?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey there. Great to have you here. CB18? CB18? Okay. Let's call the agency roll right quick. 311? Anyone here from 311? ACS? Is anyone here from ACS? No? BPL is here, I know that.
Hello.
Commission on Human Rights? Con Ed? Anyone here from Con Ed? No? Department for the Aging? Department for the Aging? No? Department of Buildings?
Good morning, Damaris here.
Hey there, good to see you. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Let's see, Department of City Planning? Department of City Planning? Okay, DCAS? Anyone here from DCAS? No, okay. DCWP, I think they're here.
Morning, Evan. Morning, everybody.
Hey
This is Zanib and Michelle.
Hey there, great to see you. DOC, anyone here from Department of Corrections? DOC? No? DDC? Department of Design and Construction, anyone here? No? DEP? Department of Environmental Protection? No? DOF? DOF? Department of Finance? No? DOHMH is here. Great to have you with us. Department of Homeless Services?
Good morning, President.
Hey there, great to have you here. Department of Housing Preservation and Development, HPD, anyone here? Anyone here? No? Department of Information Technology and Telecommunications, do it. So we'll have David report back to them, won't we, David? All right. Is anyone here from Parks? Parks, anyone here? Okay. Department of Probation, anyone here by any chance? DSNY, anyone here? Sanitation? No, okay. DOT, anyone here? DOT? Okay. Department of Youth and Community Development? No. DYCD, no. And how about FDNY? I think FDNY is here.
Good morning, present.
Hey there, great to see you. Human Resources Administration, HRA. Link NYC. Link NYC. How about the mayor's office? Anyone here from the mayor's office? And how about the mayor's office of media and entertainment? Anyone here from MOM? No? How about National Grid? Anyone here from National Grid? Okay. How about the New York City Housing Authority, NYCHA? Anyone here from NYCHA? No? Okay. How about NYC Transit? Anyone here from NYC Transit? Okay. How about OMB, Office of Management Budget? No? Okay. How about NYPD? NYPD? No? Okay. How about SBS? Yes, we have SBS.
SBS is here.
Hey, Eric. How about Housing and Urban Development? No? HUD? No one here from HUD, I don't think. U.S. Postal Service? I don't think so. And last but not least, the Verizon Company. Anyone here from Verizon? I think not. Okay. Okay, terrific. Let's get started. First on the agenda today, we have a presentation from the NYC Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. We have Dr. Gwynn actually with us, and she's going to make a presentation on racism as a public health crisis. So take it away, Dr. Gwynn.
Great. Are you seeing my screen now?
Yep, sure are. Looks great.
Try to get. Okay. Are you seeing my notes screen or my presenter screen?
It looks like notes.
Slideshow. I never had.
There you go. Is that still notes, David, or? No. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, great.
We'll just do this because I'm not exactly sure how to do this. Okay, well, thanks so much for the introduction, and thank you so much for inviting me to talk today. My name is Sharon Gwynn. I'm the Deputy Commissioner for the Division of Epidemiology here at the Health Department. I oversee a group that focuses on population health surveillance and data collection and research, public health training for our own workforce and the public health workforce more generally, and vital statistics. We collect, analyze, and disseminate information around birth and death certificates in New York City. So that just gives you a sense of who I am. I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to present to you about the Board of Health resolution that recently passed declaring racism as a public health crisis. I, along with other deputy commissioners from the agency, have been involved in this. My focus is more around some of the data components of the resolution, but we all have worked on this, and we're very excited to share with you about this today. The resolution really builds on many years of work from the Health Department to advance an anti-racist public health agenda. We have been working internally to have shared analysis around structural racism and how we organize ourselves and think about how we want to embed equity in our planning and operationalization of this work. This has really been demonstrated by our work previously with the Center for Health Equity, which really helps us organizationally think about this work and also be intentional about our place-based investments, along with our Race to Justice initiative, which allows us to do cross-agency organization to embed equity into all aspects of our work. Our practice is grounded in the understanding that centering health is really a matter of life and death, and centering equity in health. And with the pandemic, we have really come to a point where we really need to be focusing on this work the resolution really allows us to commit to this work and start to be thinking about concrete actions that we can take to really move this work further and ensure that we are developing policies to advance anti-racist public health agenda. We also are using this resolution to be reporting semi-annually to the Board of Health, which will help us keep ourselves accountable. So this work really grew from the national reckoning around racism that occurred last summer after the murder of George Floyd. The department declared racism as a public health crisis. And we acknowledge that racism is harming the health of Black and Brown New Yorkers due to persistent systemic and intergenerational systems of oppression. And this oppression is amplified by individuals who are holding intersectional identities, including LGBTQ, people of color, and women of color. And so race equity must be at the core of our city processes. In advocating for these policies, we know that we can improve the health of all New Yorkers, especially those who are marginalized. So with that, we declared racism as a public health crisis last year. And this is not something that we had just started at that point. We are really building on the work that we had previously done. Also, the work that has informed our COVID response and the inequities that we all know were laid bare last year with and continue to be presented with the COVID pandemic. So we have integrated equity into our COVID response and our vaccination campaign. And we also work with community partners as part of this work, making sure that they are trusted messengers as we work with our partners at H&H to make sure that we are supporting the response and making sure that we are engaging our partners to help with the response. So we really are going to be moving, we use this, the declaration to move from a declaration to a resolution. So we use the Board of Health resolution to help us move from stating that racism is a public health crisis to really bringing action to commit to this policy. So we are not the only ones in the country to have been able to name racism as a public health crisis. There is a phenomenon of racism as a public health crisis happening nationally and globally. This was something that was originally declared by Lillian Payne in 2018 from the Wisconsin Public Health Association, building on the work of Dr. Kamara Jones, the president of the American Public Health Association National Campaign Against Racism. And you can see on the graph to the right, an exponential increase in the number of declarations made since the time of the murder of George Floyd. There's over 200 declarations across the country now. So again, we are excited to join in this movement of moving from a declaration to a resolution. So I wanted to just outline the components of the resolution for you here today, just so that you have a clarity of what all is involved as we begin to build momentum around this work. So in October of October this year, the Board of Health formally declared racism as a public health crisis through the passage of this resolution, including the following actions. We acknowledge the work to date to address the health impacts of racism in New York City, including but not limited to race to justice and improving reporting around race and ethnicity data during COVID-19, and requests that the department expand the work to develop priorities, next steps for racially just recovery from COVID-19 and other actions, including resource allocation to address this public health crisis in the short and long term. Also, the resolution also requests that the New York City Health Department research, clarify, and acknowledge examples of its historic role in divesting and underinvesting in critical community programs. And
Sorry.
that's okay.
Excuse me, Dr. Gwynn. Maud, could you please mute if you don't mind?
Yep.
Thank you very much.
No worries. This is our reality of working remotely.
So sorry.
So the under investing in community-led health programs and participate in truth and reconciliation process with communities harmed by these actions when possible. Also requests that the New York City Health Department establish a data for equity group to ensure agency apply an intersectional anti-racist equity lens to public health data and provide annual guidance to other New York City mayoral agencies on best practice to collect and make available other health department data relevant to track and improve health equity. Also request that the New York City Health Department make recommendations on anti-racist health-related New York City charter revisions to the Mayoral Racial Justice Commission to strengthen New York City's effort to combat racism. Also requests that the New York City Health Department continue collaborations with city sister agencies to report on fatalities, injuries, health conditions by race, gender, and other demographics to improve data quality and care. Request that New York City Health Department, in consultation with relevant community organization, performs anti-racism review of the New York City Health Code to identify any existing provisions that support systemic and structural racism and bias, and recommend new provisions to dismantle systemic and structural racism and bias. Request that the New York City Health Department partner with city agencies and relevant organizations consistent with Local Law 174 and Executive Order 45 to advise on assessments of structural racism within policies, plans, and budgets related to all determinants of health, including transportation, education, housing, economic opportunities, civil participation, healthcare delivery contexts, and make recommendations to mitigate harm with a public health context. So I wanted to just try to, there's a lot of work in progress here in the health department to try to plan and implement around these resolutions. But I want to try to provide a couple of examples just to show some of the work that is actively happening. So one is called the New York City Coalition to End Racism and Clinical Algorithms, called CIRCA. So clinical algorithms, as you may know, are used by clinicians to make decisions on medical care for patients. And so some of these clinical algorithms use race norming or race adjustments that negatively affect the treatment and care of persons with color. So examples of this might be algorithms to for kidney function levels, where they may be healthier for white patients for the same results and might also delay care. Another example is maternal health outcomes, where Latino and Black birthing people might be significantly more likely to have unnecessary cesarean sections or other favorable outcomes leading to worse maternal and health inequities. So the CIRCA is an exciting initiative that's being led by our Chief medical officer, Dr. Michelle Morse, and it was formed to try to end the inclusion of these types of race adjustments and clinical algorithms. And it really is an example of how we're working with other city agencies and governments to advise and make recommendations about structural racism and existing policies, and to try to eliminate and reduce risk outcomes. So it is a citywide endeavor that really builds on coalition models that we've used in the past. We in this effort serve as a convener, providing information and resources to support this type of institutional change, and provide coalition members connections to experts and technical assistance as needed. And this next slide is really just an example of some of the institutions that have pledged to be involved in this exciting new initiative. Another example of how we're trying to move forward, some of the resolutions that we've committed to is our work around the Racial Justice Commission recommendation framework, really trying to bring an anti-racist lens to the New York City Health Charter through the work that the Mayoral Racial Justice Committee is doing. So you may know that the Racial Justice Committee was established by the mayor in 2021. It is a two-year, they have a two-year mandate to review the New York City Charter. They are coming to the end of their first year of doing this work. The charter is really our constitution, and it really sets in place how we function as a government in terms of the policies and procedures that we use. And so as part of this review of the charter, the health department has taken part of really trying to make sure that we are bringing a race equity focused lens to the charter. And so through that work, we have submitted a number of recommendations to the Racial Justice Commission for consideration. Those include they're grouped into these different themes, including measuring and addressing the social determinants of health, creating and strengthening community-based decision-making power, holding city agency leadership and staff accountable for meeting the needs of the community, requiring reports that measure and communicate on community equity indicators around social determinants of health, and creating offices and positions around city-funded policies, practices, and programs that advance equity. So the commission will be reviewing the commission is also having a series of meetings, public meetings that are made available, and I can share the link with you to some of those resources. They plan to release a report at the end of this month with their findings, taking into consideration what they've learned in the public meetings, as well as the recommendations that are provided to them. And we'll be proposing ballot measures to be considered for the November 22 election. Based on those ballot measures that are being proposed, there will be a public education campaign, and New Yorkers will ultimately go and vote for these measures that will ultimately change the charter. So we're very excited to be part of this effort and contributing to the review of the charter for relating to health equity, and to see the recommendations that the commission comes up with. So I will stop there. I just wanted to
Y
just
esa
give
necesidad
some
comida de mi hija,
examples of what we're trying to
ni de
do.
comida.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to
¿Y qué
share.
vas a comer hoy, pendejo? Lo que yo
Um,
voy a comer hoy.
I'm sorry, there's some background noise. If you want
Yeah.
to go on mute, that would be great.
Joanne,
¿Qué va a
can
comer mi
you
hija?
please mute while Dr. Gwynn is talking? Appreciate it.
Again, there's a lot of work that we are doing and that is very much in the works. But we're excited to have the opportunity to work towards these commitments and hold ourselves accountable to these commitments. We certainly would love to come back and share updates in the future as we progress in this work. So happy to take any questions.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Gwynn. Does anybody have questions for Dr. Gwynn? Any questions? I think that presentation may have been so complete that there are no questions. But it sounds like you're doing really terrific work there. So congratulations on that. And, definitely look forward to future updates.
Okay, great. Well, happy that if there's other questions you want to follow up with, email me. I think you have my email. I'm happy to.
Actually, Dr. Gwynn, if you don't mind, could you actually drop your contact information into the chat? That would be terrific.
I have a question. Sorry, it took me a minute to unmute. It's
Okay,
Carol
no
Ann from CB2. Dr. Gwynn, that was an awesome presentation because I think for a long time we've known that racism affects the health as trauma of those who may be marginalized in our society. And our community board has been really making a lot of effort to understand and to delve more into that, especially in the sense of maternal care and outcomes. One of the things that you mentioned was that the Racial Justice Commission, I believe it is, has been or is supposed to be working with the community and creating guidelines. And I want to know whether that means that the community boards will have a formal role on that in that process, and how can the boards be more involved, or what are the parameters, not just for community boards but for the community to get involved in that work?
Great question.
Thank you. So the Racial Justice Commission, I think, is holding a series of listening sessions, and I think those are really the key opportunities for the community to get involved. I dropped a link in the chat to find out more information. I'm not sure how many more they are holding because they are, as I mentioned, working on their recommendations. But I do think if you are able to go to the link that I shared, there is a way to, there's like a little section for how you might get involved. There are, you can register for upcoming events. You can, I definitely think continuing to check this website to find out what is going on and making sure you're aware of opportunities to get involved, I think would be the best way to do that. And I think even after the recommendations are shared, I think there will also be additional ways to get involved.
Thanks for that information. And I just have one more comment. So one of the things that we've concerned ourselves with is that we have a district that's very diverse, but also one that has sort of a dividing line when it comes to affluence and poverty. We have one of the richest census tracts in the city, and we also have one that's either the poorest or the second poorest in the city. And they're just almost right next to each other. And so one of the things that we've been concerned with during the pandemic is how has it affected us? And the way data is presented, those two areas are combined. So we can't really tell what's happening. And not just for the pandemic, really for all our statistics. And so it's really good to know that the Department of Health is now looking at data at a more granular level. And I know you probably, not you, the agency, probably can share some of those details because of the privacy concerns. But it's really good to know that it's being addressed. It's being viewed in that manner that, zip codes don't tell a complete story, but individual census tracts do. So I'm really
Yes.
happy to hear that we're reviewing the data at that level.
Thank you so much for that comment. I think no matter where we go and we talk, I think people want to have more granularity in the data. And sometimes, as you mentioned, we're not able to share the data at that level because of privacy concerns. And so it definitely is something that are continuing to find ways to address. But I just wanted to acknowledge that that's a very important point, and we would love to continue to work with you and other community partners to find ways that we can, describe the data that is most helpful to you.
Yeah, terrific.
I'm also going to share the Board of Health resolution in the chat for those who have not seen it, if you would like to spend some time with it.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Gwynn. Does anyone else have questions? Anyone else? Going once, going twice? Okay, thank you again for being here, Dr. Gwynn. We really appreciate it. It was a terrific presentation. And thanks
Thanks
for
so much for the opportunity. Have a great
Sure.
day, everyone.
You too. You too. Bye-bye. Okay, moving right along. We have the second presentation. Up next is Brooklyn Public Library. And I know we have Nyla and Maud, at least from there. So great to have you both with us. Take it away.
Nyla, shall I jump in? I'd like to introduce Mark Daly. He will be our first presenter. We have a presentation to show you. And Mark is our new career services supervisor. He's just taken the job, so he can tell you, he's worked with us, but he is now the supervisor of our career team, and we're going to catch you up on what we do for job seekers and individuals looking for a pathway to a better job. And then I'll take some time to show you our new Business and Career Center.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Maud. Could you hear me? I'm sorry. No worries. I'm working here with the screen, and then I have the sound on my phone. Evan, would you be able to share the presentation?
I was just about to interject. What's that, David? So it's password protected. Actually, Nyla, could you shoot us the password and we'll be all set?
Oh no, I didn't realize it was password protected. Shouldn't be. Let's see.
This is the first one I've ever seen with a password protection.
Yeah, I don't think we did it password protected. Maud, were you able to open it without a password? No, let's see. Would you be able to let me share my screen, Evan?
Yeah, David, can you make it so that we can share her screen? Nyla? Yeah. Okay, let's
try that.
What's happened, Nyla?
Sorry about that. Let's see here. Are you able to see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay. Let's see. Are you able to see my screen there?
Not yet.
I'm going to go in and see what I can do.
Yeah, I guess it's connecting. Sorry, it's going a little slower. Thank you all. While you all wait there, thank you so much. Thanks. Nice seeing all the community board folks here. Looking forward to seeing you guys in person in January, hopefully, fingers crossed. Let's see. It shows that it's connecting on my screen, but I don't know if you're able to see it yet.
Can't see it yet. Let's try to wait a couple of minutes and see if you can bring that up.
Our last meeting of the last Zoom of the meeting of the year had to be
yeah, Always something, right?
There's always something, yeah. Yeah, social spaces, when we sent it, it wasn't password protected.
I have to admit, it's the first one I've seen that has password protection on it.
Yeah.
Coming to this group. No, I don't think so. I got a message also, so yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Do you see it? Yeah, I see something here just says connecting.
Okay. That doesn't sound
Boy.
Nyla and Evan, I'm willing to try to share from my end,
Yeah.
but in the interest of time, I can just go ahead and chat perhaps while we're waiting for the presentation to load.
That would be
Just a few
terrific,
minutes.
Mark.
Thank
That would be
Mark.
terrific. Thank you very much.
Great.
Yeah.
Mark to the rescue. Mark Daly, everyone.
Hi, everybody. Excuse me while I might furiously type some things in the chat while I talk so that you know what I'm talking about. Thank you for inviting me to talk. As Maud mentioned, I'm the library's new career services supervisor. It's actually something, a field that I've been working in for the last 5 or 6 years with the library. And as we've been paying attention to the drastic changes in the economy, and as we've been coping, like all of us, with restrictions on meeting in person and providing direct service to people, we wanted to let you in the community know about 2 services the library has that allows people to get help from the library virtually while our chances to meet in person are restricted. The first, which I'm going to start typing here, is our newest service. It's called BPL College Connect. It is a virtual college counseling service, which is intended for high school juniors and seniors, or perhaps anyone out of school who's interested in going to college. It's a service we started last year at a time when many schools were not able to operate, when many libraries were restricted at how many people could enter the building. And what we were trying to do is reach those juniors and seniors who are headed to college and make sure if they were having trouble connecting with their own guidance counselors in their schools, that they did get help from a trusted and trained adult about navigating the college going process. I am going to quickly find the...
I can try and find it, Mark. Let me try and do that.
Yeah.
College Connect.
I found College Connect. We can move on to the next one here.
Okay.
The way it works is a student can visit the library's website, share some information about themselves, such as the school they go to or where they are in the college process, and then choose an appointment time that fits their schedule. What we offer is trained library workers who are available via Zoom on weekday afternoons after school, as well as some Saturdays. The services that we can offer is to help a student figure out which college might be a right college for them, have them understand how to apply for financial aid and the importance of filling out the FAFSA form as the first step in getting financial aid for college, and then also helping understand the college applications, and especially getting some feedback to the students about the personal essays that are an important part of many college applications. As I mentioned, we launched this service last year, a little over a year ago. We've served, don't have the exact count, but I'm guessing dozens and dozens of students, including the student interns who volunteer at the library. We want to make sure everyone who takes an internship at the library learns about this service and gets the assistance they need to turn their experiences at the library into something that they can mention in a college application essay. That's part one. The second one, which Maud is busily adding to the chat, is our resume and career help service, which we have been offering for years now. And when the libraries were unable to operate or open for a period of time, we figured out a way to hold that virtually over Zoom as well. The service works the same way. As someone who needs help with their job search can visit the library's website and choose an appointment time and get 30 minutes with a trained librarian to answer their job search questions. We help people by giving feedback on their resumes, help them understand how to write a cover letter effectively, and of course, help them practice a virtual job interview. As a matter of fact, we're having a workshop on that tomorrow, about 1 o'clock, I believe, where we will show folks how to do a job interview the wrong way and how to do a job interview the right way. We've been offering that service, like I said, since shortly after we had to close our doors virtually over Zoom. I was just checking the stats. We've helped, I think, over 200 people in our first year of operation. And since July, we've helped about 150 people through these appointments. One of the things I'm doing in my new role as the career services supervisor is figuring out how to expand this service to reach more people. Hopefully, as our doors become more open and people who can visit the library can also get services in the library. We are trying to connect with folks that we know need our help. One category is the people who are already attending the library's classes, whether to learn English, to complete their high school education, or our adult basic education, people who are learning how to read and write at a higher level. We're hoping to connect with each and every one of those students to make sure they know that they can get one-on-one help with their job search or with figuring out their plans for studying after our classes and going to college.
I think that's it.
Thanks so much.
Which is a lot.
That's it. I'm willing to take a question or two, and then I'll maybe figure out how to
and I'm
share the
going to,
presentation from my end.
Yeah, when you
Yeah.
have Mark Daly, you don't need a PowerPoint.
Thank you, Mark, so much.
That was terrific.
Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you.
Yeah.
Evan,
Fantastic.
I wonder if would it be possible for you to share the video that Maud sent you, and then Maud can go ahead and just do the video. And I'm so sorry about the presentation that's not working.
I could try and I do have the PowerPoint. If anyone can let me share my screen, but I might be in exactly the same situation as you, Nyla.
Yeah.
So yeah, hold on 1 second. Let's get that to David. This is a YouTube link I'm sending you now.
And thank you all for your patience with this. We really appreciate it.
No, that was great. That was really terrific. And you know, these services are so critical. It's so important. This stuff. More people need to understand that the public library does things like this. I'm not even sure it's people are really fully aware of this. Actually, it's really great.
So
Terrific.
if this video indeed comes up, this is another, it's going to be about another service we offer, which I was going to speak about and introduce you to winners of our business plan competition this year. We just announced them in end of November. The video clip is actually of previous winners who now own a shop. They've successfully launched and they're actually opening up another shop outside of New York City. But it's something of a testimonial, but also just a very friendly video because the entrepreneurs we've helped over the years are still close, good friends, and it's a great network that we're trying to build with them. So we hope you get a chance to see them.
That's great. Do we have that queued up there, David? Yeah. Okay, video coming right up. Okay, here we go.
I don't think we see the video.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. He's queuing it up right now.
Almost.
And
Nope. Hold on a second. I don't want to get enough call there.
Sorry for the technical delays, everyone.
Yeah.
We don't see it.
You don't see it. We're so sorry.
Yeah.
I guess, Maud, do you want to talk through a little bit about the new services? Oh, I think there
Okay.
it is.
Yeah, it looks like we have it.
Do you have it with sound? I don't think we have it with sound, or is it that?
Can you all hear that? Okay, hold on 1 second.
And I don't know if it helps, Evan, but now it shows that it finally loaded. I'm able to share my screen.
Okay, that's great. Let's do it that way.
Should we go ahead with that then? Let me know if you can see my screen there.
We did for about 2 seconds, Maud.
Zach, can you see my screen there?
No, still don't see it.
I
saw that you had it up on YouTube, though. I did see it.
Okay. I'm so sorry. This is just not happening today.
Yeah, I'll tell you what we can do. Sorry about this, everybody, but I can share the YouTube link in the chat with everybody. So let's do that. Okay, let me put that in here now. Whoops, this is the video. So that means everyone can actually look at it on their own. So yeah, thank you all for being here and making this terrific presentation. Does anyone have questions for BPL?
I just want to say that the presentation was about our new space. We have a beautiful space at Grand Army Plaza Central Library, and it is open. This is the first time I've done a presentation from home in some time, so I apologize, because now we are at the library all the time, and we would really love to see you come into our space and use it. So please, I can't tell you verbally about what it looks like because the pictures are so great, but do visit us at Central Library. We have some terrific new spaces. We're going to have even more. Thank you, VP Eric Adams, for helping us fund many of these spaces too. So come visit us.
Sounds great.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, and thank you, Evan, and your team. It's been great working with you guys. We're happy to close out, the year with our last presentation, and thank you so much for all your support, and for all the community boards. Please invite us to your meetings. We look forward to coming to present. As you all know, we now have librarians attend all your general board meetings. So you will have, if you haven't had so already, a librarian attend your meetings and give some updates. And as always, I'll share my information in the chat in case anyone has any questions or comments. Thank you all, and thanks for your patience.
Great, thank you, Nala. Yeah, likewise. Obviously, it's been great working with you all. So last call for questions now for BPL.
Good morning. I have a question. For the interview workshop, the one that's happening tomorrow, are there any workshops next year that will be taking place?
We always have workshops going on. The best thing to do is subscribe to our newsletter. We send out a monthly announcement. I'm desperately thinking about what we have planned for January. We will be having a few workshops on job seeking in one form or another. We also cover business generation, legal clinics for entrepreneurs, and so many other things that you can learn about. And I believe I dropped in our URL in the chat, but that's where you sign up for our newsletter. And that's really the best way to keep up with it.
Perfect. Appreciate that.
Yeah, yep. We're very happy to have people attending. We're still doing a lot virtual. We're moving towards hybrid and doing more things in person. And our one-on-ones are starting up in person.
Okay.
Great stuff.
Thanks.
All right.
Okay, anybody else?
And my last question is for the trained workers who I think that they handle College Connect. Are they former educators? How did they end up in this type of position, assisting students in their college choices? The reason I ask this is because I used to work at DHS, and I worked with students who resided in shelter with the application process, and also with FAFSA, financial literacy. And something I've seen often is that there's a lot of students within the system who have phenomenal grades, but haven't been told that they can attend top tier schools. And so I just want to make sure, if these types of services are provided, that students are being told, hey, your grades can get you into X, Y, and Z. You should at least apply.
I can answer that, Maud. Thanks for your question, Dante. The people who are providing the service are librarians and some other library workers. We received 3 days of training from Goddard Riverside's Options Center. They're the community center in Upper Manhattan that has specialized in college counseling for many years, including for low-income students and immigrant students. In addition to that, we take advantage of the annual training that the Department of Education offers its counselors and that the state Higher Education Services Corporation offers as far as financial aid goes. I agree with you on one of our goals is to reach students, as I said before, who can't get in touch with their overburdened guidance counselors in the schools. We want to be a trusted source of information in the neighborhood for students who may not be able to get that information from their schools. And I also agree with you that choosing colleges to apply is very important. I have been trying to track the changes going on in the world. And one thing that I think we all have learned about is as major institutions make SATs and other tests optional for applying, what they're seeing is a huge increase in applications. And thankfully, some colleges are reporting a huge increase in applications among first-generation college students, immigrant college students, underrepresented college students. So we hope to continue getting that message out that if you're a stellar student, aiming high is worthwhile in terms of choosing a college to apply to.
That's
appreciated.
great. That's
Thank
so
you.
important. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Questions for Brooklyn Public Library? Going once, going twice. Okay.
Thanks so much.
Thank you all. Thank you all for coming. We really appreciate it. This is actually really terrific. I think the word needs to get out more on these kinds of great services that you guys are actually providing. So thank you. Thank you and have a great new year. Okay, moving right along, we have a very special guest now. We've been talking about doing broadcasting community board meetings on BCAT. So we have with us now Elise Anan, and she is going to give a presentation on just how that works. And she's from Brick Arts Media, of course, as you all know. And do we have that queued up now, David? I think she sent that in advance too. Also, great. So hi, Elise. Great to have you with us.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I also want to tag in my colleague, Tyrone Gorin. Hey, Tyrone.
Good morning, everyone.
Hi, Tyrone. Good to have you with us.
Thank you.
You want us to share the screen, right, Elise?
Yeah, you can, or I'm ready to go if that's easy too.
Oh, okay.
Let's see.
Would you prefer to do it? Oh, great. Okay, terrific.
All right. So, good morning. So we're just not gonna take up too much of your time, but we want to give you more information. Evan, thank you for inviting us here. And thank you to all the community board members, community board leaders here, and everyone else for having us. So we're just gonna talk to you briefly about connecting with your constituents using our platform, community platform, Brooklyn Free Speech TV, which is housed and taken care of by BRIC to do worldwide distribution of community board meetings and happenings on Brooklyn Free Speech TV. All right, so good morning. There's a sunshiny face for you. We know it's early. So my name is Elise Anan. I take care of on-air promotions for BRIC's Brooklyn Free Speech TV network. And Tyrone?
I am the program coordinator. I make sure all the content that we receive airs and airs accordingly.
Cool. Thank you. So let's talk about BRIC a little bit. Let's move this up. Maybe you can see that. So we are a leading arts and media institution anchored in downtown Brooklyn, whose work spans contemporary visual and performing arts, media, and civic action. So for over 40 years, our institution has shaped Brooklyn's cultural and media landscape by presenting and incubating artists, creators, students, and media makers. As a creative catalyst for our community, we ignite learning in people of all ages and centralize diverse voices that take risks and drive culture forward. BRIC is building Brooklyn's creative future. All right, so we heard that you knew we were coming. We know that it's probably like, how do we get we know we have to get these community board meetings dispersed and out into the community. We have to do distribution. So with everything going on, we had an idea that you might be feeling like him. So we want you to come into this knowing it's going to be super easy. So the goal after this is that you're going to be feeling like this dog, happy and free. So our free and easy process will have you feeling like him. So we promise we'll do everything that we can to make sure that this is seamless for you. So we know that Brooklyn is huge, made up of 18 community districts. We want to make sure that we are connecting with all of you to ensure that your content or the community board meetings are airing on our channel. So we're a 5-channel TV network. So let's talk briefly about what public access is or community media. So sometimes people might think of, like, depending on like maybe you're a Saturday Night Live fan, maybe you think of Wayne's World. Not exactly. Or maybe you think of Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis. Sort of, but not really. We're a lot more than that. So let's think about community media, who we are, what we do. So community media with BRIC, so we're 2 TV and podcast networks, which make up one beautiful family. So we have BRIC TV, which is in-house produced programming. So we actually pay producers to make content for BRIC. And then we also have BRIC Radio, which we pay producers to make content that work for BRIC to produce radio content or podcast content. And then what Tyrone and I focus on is BRIC's Brooklyn Free Speech TV and Podcast Network, also our education initiatives, which is, so you're like, I love, let's say, knitting, right? So I love knitting. I want the world to know that I love knitting, and I want to teach people how to knit, and I want to teach, make sure everyone knows how to knit, how to start the stitch, etc. So you can come to us and air that content completely free of charge. It's really easy, and get that out into the world. But let's say you're like, I really want to do this, but I have no idea of how to start a camera. I have my iPhone, I don't even know how to work that, or I have a fancy camera that, my husband bought me, but I don't even know how to work that. We can teach you how to do that. So we teach you content creation, we teach you video production, we teach you editing. So you gathered all this footage, how do you put it into a story? We actually teach you editing, we teach you podcasting, and then we have a 9,000 square foot facility at our space downtown Brooklyn at BRIC, where we have 2 TV studios, and then a small mini studio where you can man it yourself. We have a podcast studio. So in addition to the TV network, we also have education initiatives. Okay, let's move on. All right, so a little bit more about Brooklyn Free Speech TV, and I feel like I'm talking too much. I'm gonna kick it to Tyrone. Tyrone, do you wanna take the slide?
So, sure. The old cliche, we give a voice to the voiceless. So pretty much like Elise was stating, if you have an idea that you want to share with the entire world, or Brooklyn mostly, you can come to us. We can give you the tools to learn how to produce the content that you want, and we'll air your show. So as you can see in the slide, we're Emmy Award winning 5-channel TV network, and we offer a variety of classes that that you can come in and take. Because of the pandemic, the classes have been scaled back a little bit, but they're still available. People are still coming in, just at a smaller rate.
We also have an Emmy-nominated documentary program, which I actually took maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, which is really fantastic. And then your community board meetings and happenings, neighborhood happenings, etc., will be seen in over 550,000 New York City households and countless more across the globe via online streaming. So our channels stream through our website. All right, Tyrone, actually, do you want to talk a little bit more about, just briefly, about the process of airing content?
Sure. Please. So on our channels, we still broadcast in standard definition. That's if you wanted to have a series. A series would be a weekly, a monthly, or a bi-monthly program. We also have an HD channel. So if you wanted to air content on our HD channel, you'd be able to do that as well. Now, for a series, you would have to follow the guidelines of a half an hour content. So your show would have to be 28 minutes in length. For our HD channel, we have no time restrictions. So if you have something that you'd like to, if you have something you'd like us to air and it's only 2 minutes, feel free to turn it in. If you have something that's 2 hours, you can turn that in as well. We don't recommend giving us content that's in such a long form because we just don't recommend it. But if you do have the content, we do recommend that you give it in.
And then going further with that, with the community board meetings, we know that they will run long. It could be an hour, it could be an hour and a half. So, you know, we welcome all the content that you give us. I know that it's generally monthly general meetings and then you have other meetings. If there are other meetings that you want to submit for air on our channels, we would love to have that too. There really is no limit. We make the room, like I said, we have 5 channels as part of the Brooklyn Free Speech TV network. So we will always make room to air the content that you share with us. It's important that people know, we know that it's important to you and it's important to us also that your constituents know what's going on. All right, I think that was the end of our presentation. If you have questions, we love questions, by the way. So if you love them, if you have them, we will answer them. And then here's our information. We want to say thank you to Evan, IT, and everyone here for listening. So you can visit our website at brickartsmedia.org. And then there's Tyrone's information in mine.
Great, thank you, Elise and Tyrone. That was actually terrific. I know the DMs have some questions on this. There's no doubt about that. But could you do us a favor and could you drop this contact info into the chat?
Sure.
That's actually what we do, just to try to make it accessible. So I know there are questions. So any questions for Elise and Tyrone?
I have a question.
Okay, Josephine.
I was trying to figure out how to raise my hand on WebEx. I forgot for a minute.
Just speak right up.
Yeah.
Yep.
So currently, our board, as many boards are, either live stream our meetings in this new virtual world that we're living in on Zoom or on WebEx. Community Board 10, we use Zoom, and then we upload it to YouTube. So, I mean, how simple would it be to then send it to you? Do we just send you the link? Do we have to set up an account? I'm just looking for those granular details. Is that available on your website? And how do we get our content to you? Because I'm really not tech savvy at all.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping to do, Elise, is to kind of like smooth the pathway between the community boards and you all, so that they know exactly what they need to do in terms of sending the content and stuff and getting this, getting the meetings aired. And also if there's some kind of schedule that they could have in advance, so possibly they know actually when they're aired. And I think we had a question about how soon after the community board meeting takes place can it be aired, right? So I think there was a question on that too.
Okay, so I'll answer part of it and then I'll have Tyrone jump in to answer the other part. So one thing that jumps out to me immediately is for broadcast quality, ensuring that it looks the best possible way when airing. I wouldn't recommend downloading from YouTube. So I would say if you could get us the original file, at any time, that would always be the best thing for us. So if you hold on to so it could be a part of your regular workflow. Once you start airing content on Brooklyn Free Speech TV, absolutely continue uploading to YouTube, but then, keep that original file to share with us. And then we can work out getting that on the channels for you. So Tyrone, do you want to talk to the other questions, which were like schedule and
so you can send your video files via WeTransfer. You send it Dropbox, any downloadable link that we can download without a login requirement. And you can send those files to at brickartsmedia.org. We'll give you all of the information.
Should
And
they
it's-
copy you, Tyrone? Actually, when they do that?
So we have.
You can, but once you send it to the programming email address, it's my colleagues and myself that will receive it. And once we receive it, we will email you to let you know that we have received your file.
Right.
And as far as your content, since these meetings seem to run more than a half an hour, I would recommend that you air for the HD channel. So now for our HD channel, how it works is your content would need to be submitted by the 15th of this month or of any month so that it would air for the following month.
The one thing I do want to say, so there's no real, so like if you're looking for like a regular time slot, so let's say like a Bob Hart's Abishola or 60 minutes. So, depending on if the NFL is interrupting, like I know I can tune into 60 minutes every Sunday, 7 p.m. to Channel 2, right? Or evening news every night, 6:30, whatever channel. So if that's what you're looking for, then you'd have to do like our SD channel, which is, and I hope I'm not confusing. So like we have 5 channels. So the HD channel means you can submit, as Tyrone was saying, content that's 2 minutes long, content that's 2 hours long, but you don't have a regular time slot. So with our SD channel though, you can submit, you can have a half-hour program or an hour program, and you have a regular time slot, which gives you the ability to tell your constituents, tune into Brooklyn Free Speech TV every, I don't know, the 28th of the month at whatever time on this channel to watch whatever that you missed. So, it's up to you. We can always discuss it. Like, I don't want to confuse anyone with too much information. But, we'll do whatever we can to accommodate you to make sure that it's as easy as possible.
Question. Thank you for that. With the SD channel, you said a half hour to an hour time slot. So at this community board, you're never going to see a committee meeting that goes 30 minutes. So if you did the hour time slot, would you be able to get 2 time slots back to back for an hour?
So a 2-hour time slot.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah. I think I'm pretty. Wait, let me step
No.
back. Tyrone, can we do
No,
that?
not for the SD channel. You would not.
Understood. No, you can't get a 2-hour time slot, but can you get 2-hour time slots back to back?
No, we don't offer that.
Got you. All right. Thank you.
So that's actually a really good point, and somebody just put into the chat. CV1 just put into the chat that their meetings can run 3 to 4 hours. Some of these meetings do run longer than 2 hours, actually, believe it or not. So, a lot of important things being discussed and things like that. So, and they're trying to get everybody heard. So that's actually a really good question. What if the file is that big, or what if the meeting is that long? Is there still a way to get it aired, or is there a cap on the length?
There's no restrictions for our HD channel. So if you do have a file that is 4 hours in length, we can air it.
You can air that. Fantastic. So, but it's got to be on the HD channel, right?
It would be yes.
Gotcha. Okay. And that's over anything over an hour?
There are no time restrictions. So as I stated, if you have something that's 2 minutes in length, you can submit it, or if you have of content that's of 4 hours or even longer, you can submit it.
Great. So that's HD channel?
Yes, our HD channel.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I have another question. So do individuals in the community, do they have to have an HD TV to be able to watch the HD channel, or it will show up on any TV with any resolution?
Well, if you have cable,
right.
So how we broadcast on in Brooklyn through Optimum, formerly Cablevision, Spectrum, formerly Time Warner, RCN, and we're on in all 5 boroughs if you have Verizon Fios. So for anyone who does not have cable and they have an internet connection, they can watch they can watch it on the internet, and it's a simulcast. So if you have friends in California, if your show is airing at 8 p.m., it's 8 p.m. our time, not 8 p.m. California time.
All right, thank you.
So there's a couple of good questions in the chat. Laura is asking something I was actually just about to ask, which is how do you prefer the community boards actually capture the video? So what's interesting about nowadays is your average recent iPhone actually captures pretty high resolution video. And so there are a lot of live events are actually filmed on iPhone and streamed and stuff, right? As you all know. So what do you actually recommend in terms of the kind of resolution that you want and in terms of ease of transferability and all that? So iPhone, they'd have to transfer it could be a relatively simple process, I think, to capture the meeting on your iPhone and then to transfer it straight from the phone to your computer and then put it into Dropbox or something like that, and then send you all a link to download, right? So what would be great is if you could give us the simplest way that people could do this, because I think we're still kind of trying to ramp up into sort of hybrid meeting mode and stuff, and tech-wise, all of the community boards are kind of starting to come together and to start to get to the level where all this is kind of easy and streamlined and things like that, but I don't think we're quite there yet. So is there a simple sort of method that you would actually recommend to people to do this?
So I put the we have a tutorial.
Oh, great.
I put the tutorial in the chat, so anybody that would like to click on it to view it, feel free.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't recommend, I mean, capturing on your iPhone is great. Yes, that would be perfect. I think, but capturing all the footage on your iPhone and then just sending it to us, I would not recommend. So if you are, and I say that just because, just think about the viewing experience for the viewer. So if all they're seeing is just footage, they have no idea of what it is. Like there needs to be some, I'm sure that we can try to figure out the best way to assist with that. But there may need to be like minor editing involved. It's up to you, obviously. Like you don't have to. It's just our recommendation where you could put a title card in front so that people know this is Community Board 9, the date that it happened, information if people have questions. I don't think you have to get into, lower thirds, especially if it's a 4-hour meeting. Nobody's going to do that. I mean, someone could. But it could just be as simple as opening title card, closing title card. Maybe you want to put something in the middle potentially, just so that people aren't just watching a bunch of people talking. They have no idea what's going on. So I think the way that Tyrone and I try to look at it is always how the viewer is going to experience it. So we can always help you with this. So just thinking about how the viewer is going to experience the content. And also, just with a marketing brain, what is it exactly that you want them to do? So we're doing this obviously because we have to, but we also want people to get involved. So if we want people to get involved, we have to make it as easy for them to do what we want them to do, and that's giving them the information, contact info, etc. So that's all.
That's a really good point. Yeah. So simple text, the ability. So the simple text for the meeting, sort of, in other words, CB1 meeting and then date and so forth, that would need to be done by the community board itself. So they would need to send you the file with all of that finished, right? Essentially.
And going back to our presentation with the dog, right? We don't want you we're giving you more work. That's not what we're trying to do, right? Because I'll be like, she's giving me more work. That's not, we can help with it.
Right.
So, and then, I think we can help to get you started, and then we can work out ways or figure out ways in which you can work with someone. And then you're still doing it on Zoom right now. So the fact that it's still being done on Zoom, it should be fairly easy to just, grab the recording and then, put a title card at the top. Hopefully the Zoom can continue, and then maybe you just keep doing it that way, right? And then you get some sort of a template title card at the top, title card at the back, whatever information that you need, boom, you're done.
So you're talking about editing, you're talking about doing simple editing to a Zoom recording.
Yeah, I think that like to get started, because I think everyone is still doing Zoom. So I think to get you started, you just stick with Zoom for right now.
So-
I think, sorry, go ahead.
So the community boards, yeah, I'm sorry too. I hate to keep cutting in on you. There's just so many questions. The community boards are actually not using Zoom. They're using
Okay.
WebEx, right? So that's an issue. So they have WebEx recordings of the meetings available. Are those recordings able to work?
Yeah, that's yeah, Zoom, WebEx. I'm not familiar with WebEx. I'm assuming that you can record, and if you can, then it should be
so
great.
forth. So are you talking about actually editing it, doing the editing, and then sending from there, or are you talking about actually downloading the file from Zoom or from WebEx and then actually doing the simple editing and then sending the file to you by Dropbox or something?
So I
Would
think
that be the process?
to make it easy, to start, I think I can commit for a few months to assisting with it, for just a few months, just with like a title card at the top, a title card at the back, with the record, because it's really easy to do, and then we can just to get you all started and making sure that the content is getting up on the network.
Okay, that would be great. Actually, all the help that could be offered would be terrific. Actually, so it's true. We have talked about this, the hybrid meeting model. We've talked about it being funded, Laura, and you're right about this, out of the Borough President's office. Actually, possibly we were talking about doing that here, but of course our term here is over in about 2 weeks. So it would be great to have you all kind of raise this with the new Borough President, BP-elect Reynoso, because I'm sure they'll be on board with this. It's a great idea, and I think it would be great to get you all started on this. And it could be a good idea to try to make all this happen at once, right? So start the hybrid meetings, make sure you're equipped to do all that, make sure that you have the ability to record the meeting, and that the process is pretty simple as far as getting the recordings over to Elise and Tyrone, so that they can actually air these things. Laura is saying that it needs to be a polished product, but I think for these kinds of things, I think you're right, Laura, but I also think that on the other hand, some simple text introduction and then the meeting and then final contact info for the community board is probably fine, right? For stuff like this.
When I went to film school in the 80s, we didn't have this kind of technology. So I don't have the ability to put title cards in or end cards. When it was 16mm film and I was slicing it, yes. So I don't have that technology. But thank you for having that confidence in me.
Yeah, I have total confidence in you. But no, the truth is actually once these things are understood, the processes are actually pretty simple. Like simple text it's not too crazy to learn how to do. But I think it is going to take a little bit of tutelage and kind of this sort of trying to bring everybody on board so that they kind of really understand what the process is, making it as clear and as simple as possible. So that's great, Elise. If you could actually help out with that, that would be terrific. So do you want the district managers to contact you all directly on this?
Yeah, that would be great. I've already been in, talked extensively with Carol Ann Church, who I think is on here, who's lovely. So, we've been working together. So, I'm happy to help with helping, any community board with, getting the process started. And, we can just work together to figure out what the, whatever language, logo or whatever the case may be, just so that you get a template, and then it's just easy to go from there. I did want to answer one question that I see here. I hope I haven't missed any questions. Could you speak to the benefits of broadcasting on Free Speech TV versus YouTube? On YouTube, our content is available anytime. How many more viewers would we reach? Is it valuable to have a meeting broadcast a month after it takes place? Thank you. Thank you for that question. So I think just thinking about distribution, so one example that I give sometimes is you never know who's watching what. And while YouTube is great and it's fantastic, I think that our network is pretty fantastic too. And so I found this really incredible I mean, it was just beautiful. I was so taken. This was a few years back, sitting home watching Brooklyn Free Speech TV, and I saw this short film that I'd never seen on our network before. And I think either I emailed our programming team or walked into their office that Monday, and I said, you know, I was watching our channels at this time on this channel. Can you tell me who the filmmaker is? And so we ended up, you know, pushing for their film to be submitted for an Emmy, and it was nominated. No, I think it actually won an Emmy. I think it actually won an Emmy that year. So I think the point is you never know who's watching, right? And you never know whatever you're discussing, how it can touch someone or whatever the case may be. And then also it's a free distribution platform. So I think the same work that you're doing to put it on YouTube, there is the same exact work that you'd be doing to put it on Brooklyn Free Speech TV. I'm guessing you're just doing a raw file on YouTube. I think if you're adding on the title card and the end card, maybe that's a part of your regular workflow, and you can also do that on YouTube and also do it on Brooklyn Free Speech TV. But I think the more eyes, that would be my answer, the more people that you're having see the work that you're doing, I would say works to your advantage. So you're having these community board meetings, that obviously takes time and effort and work. You're having people ask questions, and you never know if there's a community board person or person that lives in your district that's watching Brooklyn Free Speech TV that may not know about your YouTube channel. Maybe they watch Brooklyn Free Speech TV. There are lots of people who actually watch Brooklyn Free Speech TV. I don't have the exact numbers to share with you right now, but we do have viewers. And so I think that's what I would say to that. Any way that you can make sure that there are more eyes, particularly in the district, particularly with everything that's going on right now, I think it's helpful. And if you have a follow-up to that, please ask. Let me see if there's anything else that I missed. Is it valuable to have a meeting broadcast a month after it takes place? That's why I said with Zoom, I don't think it has to take a month, or WebEx. I don't think it has to take a month. If you're able to get us the file, the recording shouldn't take that long you can download it right away. And if we're working together, we have a template in place of whatever that title card is, the end card is, it should be really simple and easy to do. And it's 10:58. Okay, I'll shut up.
So the turnaround time is not, I think we had a note in there saying that they had to submit the file by the 15th of the month to get it into the broadcast schedule for the following month. But you're saying that the turnaround time is actually faster than that? That's great.
No.
We can. So what we can do is, if you do decide to start airing your content, what we can do is, we'll say schedule your meetings, so we can air it sooner. Is what I'm trying to say.
Great. Sooner the better, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say one I think is a great idea. If you may not be aware, the comptroller's office they're in the process of drafting a report auditing community boards, more so on the electronic side, the technology side of the boards. And so, like, one of the things that some of the boards have had difficulty with is making meetings and hearings available for broadcasting and cable casting, whatever that may be. So some of the boards, like Community Board 9, we use YouTube and Facebook to air those meetings in live time, but apparently that doesn't satisfy the requirements that the comptroller's office is looking for. So, if we're trying to cure the items that we've probably seen in the comptroller's draft report, I think that this is a really good way to satisfy the broadcasting and cable casting requirement. I'm reading the language right now, maybe just because this is the type of person that I am, but it just says, like, make available for broadcasting and cable casting. It doesn't explicitly say that it needs to be in live time. So this is something that we as boards might be able to do to satisfy that requirement. So the next time they decide to audit us, we'll have black, it will be good, we've done our due diligence.
It's a great point. Yeah. Yeah, the value I think it's obviously there. We just need to get it sorted out so that everybody can do it in a pretty seamless and simple and quick way. And that's going to take, that'll take some instruction, and I think it will take some funding. So again, to get this on the radar of the BP elect here, actually, I think would be probably a pretty good thing to do. Are you all in touch with him, by the way? BP elect Reynoso?
I'm pretty sure that our Senior Vice President of Community Media, Anthony Riddle, is, and then our Government Affairs person, Alana Petard. I'm sure that she is. Yeah.
Is there any way that I could impose on you to possibly put it on their agenda to reach out to the new borough president on behalf of the community boards, just to kind of get that ball rolling as soon as possible in the new year? I know they're still staffing up here and stuff like that, but do you think that would be possible maybe for you to do some outreach there?
I can most certainly try. I will, I'll send an email
Great.
to
Thank you.
Tony and Alana, and let's just see how we can definitely help. Yeah, we'd love to help.
Right. Great stuff. Does anyone else have questions? We're getting starting to get a little late on time, actually, but this has been really informative. So thank you both again. Any more questions for Elise and Tyrone? Okay, great. So we'll just try to facilitate the conversation, I guess. And you all have the contact information there to get in touch directly on this and stuff and start the conversation going. And then hopefully the borough president can get on this, sooner than later when he gets into office on January 1st. And, hopefully this ball can get rolling within the first, let's say, month or two of the new year. That'd be great to sort of start all this, in motion. I think the cable casting, has got to start that early, right? It's not, there's no reason for it not to. So all good stuff. So thank you again, Elise and Tyrone.
Thank you.
Great informative meeting. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Sure. Okay, moving right along, we have the district manager updates. Anybody want to update? Any updates? Going once, going twice? Any unfinished business? Unfinished business, going once, going twice? Any new business?
I'm so sorry. I'm trying to do 16 things at once. So I have a question. Sure. So I'm so sorry. Hold on 1 second, Warren. You guys are on. All right. So for the in-person meetings,
do we still have
able to do hybrid in the they're too loud, sorry. Right. So I'm trying to get an understanding of this hybrid and then doing in person. So next year, are we able to do in person, or has there been any type of discussions in terms of the extension of the I guess open meetings law?
Right.
Has there been any discussions about that?
Right. So that's what's got to happen, right? So there's a few things that I think have to happen. So it's extended through the January 15th, I think.
Yeah.
Right. And so, there's going to need to be tweaks on that. I think they may have something, it may read something like, you can attend the meeting, but you can't vote unless you're there in person or something. I don't know what the stipulations are going to be, but I think the road is going to be smooth toward having these hybrid meetings, just because engagement was so high on these, right? It was really terrific. You all were saying that you had sometimes 50% more people there, which is really great. So I think it's got to happen. I mean, it's time. It's past time. The technology is here to do it. It's pretty simple. It's not even all that much money actually to get set up, as you heard from David Perez, right? That day we all talked about it. So I think to try to get the ball rolling on this as soon as possible in 22 actually would be great. We could have done it here. We just kind of ran out of time. It was it's already, I can't believe it's 2 weeks to the new year. We have two weeks left in our term. It's wow, that was fast. So, but yeah, so, I mean, as I said, to get the ball rolling with them, I think would be a smart idea. I'm sure they would be, 100% behind it. I think that the open meetings law probably does need to be amended. I don't know all the ins and outs of that as in terms of the technicalities of it and stuff. Tanya Cantlow would know that, or anyone who's actually paying attention to the legal end of it and stuff and the way it's written. But I think all this is going to happen. I don't think that's the issue. I think hybrid meetings are going to be available broadly from now on. I think that's one of the good outcomes of the pandemic is that I think it's accelerated this technology.
Evan, hi. Can I jump in here?
Sure. Hey, Barry.
Hey. I have asked my assemblyman to introduce legislation to change the open meetings law. That if there is a physical, if there's a in-person quorum, that the rest of the members should be allowed to be remote, should be allowed to be on virtual whatever. So because currently what the way the open meetings law is written is that you can be remote, but you have to publicize the location and you have to make that available for the public. So basically, if a member is at home, we have to list, okay, this member is going to be at home and this is his address and you can go over there to watch the meeting, which obviously that's the reason nobody does it. So,
yeah, right.
So he's willing to introduce legislation to amend the open meetings law that if there's a in-person quorum, the rest can be remote. So that's
is that a bill that's actually been introduced now, Barry?
No, it hasn't been introduced yet because as far as I know, they're still haggling over it over there in Albany.
Okay, great. If you could keep everybody posted on that, that would be great because that's exactly what needs to happen.
Will do.
Great. Thank you. Anyone else? Comments? Updates? Questions? No? Wow. Okay. Alrighty then. Lastly, I think it was any new business. I don't think I got to read that one off yet on the agenda. New business? No? All right. Well, I just want to say to everybody that, this is our last one of the year. It's the last one of, Borough President Adams' term here. I just want to say to everybody, thank you for everything that I've learned from all of you, because it's been great. These are some of the most informative meetings I've ever had about anything ever. So, the knowledge and all the district managers to me is just really deep and three-dimensional. It's just been great to be a part of that and be in that loop. So thank you all.
Thank you, Evan.
Don't forget us in the mayor's office there.
Yeah, it's coming up fast, isn't it? Okay. Well, anyway, fantastic as always to see you all. Have a happy and safe holiday, and have a great new year. And I hope to see you all in 22. Stay in touch if you can. In fact, I'm going to put my Gmail in the chat just in case we get separated. It's just evanjburr@gmail.com. But stay in touch for sure, because I feel like we've all made friends here. So let's keep all these conversations going too, because there's some critically important stuff that we're all going to have to deal with anyway moving forward, right? So
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.